I mean, the lighting's crap. How's that? Now you can see my really ugly face. Right, this is a bit of a shock for you guys, because I haven't posted in a good few weeks. Long story short, for 2 weeks I filmed vlogs. They're mainly just sort of homey vlogs, chatty vlogs and whatever else, but I never got round to posting them and editing them. It just never happened. And on Tuesday last week, I'm really sorry, I'm struggling to breathe properly. Tuesday last week I had quite a severe asthma attack, and I ended up ringing an ambulance because I just could not breathe. I couldn't catch my breath, there was nothing going in. So I rang an ambulance, thinking that they would just do a nebulizer and everything would be fine. But as soon as the ambulance got to mine, he checked everything and was like, no, you have to come to hospital. And I said, I don't really want to go to hospital, I'm fine. He was like, no, number one, we think you might have suspected sepsis, which is poisoning of the blood, and also the nebulizer medication can cause your cervix to soften and contractions to start. And I was like, what the fudge? So I got rushed to hospital in the back of an ambulance with blue lights shining everywhere and the sirens going, and I was like, what on earth has just happened? I wasn't taken to accident and emergency like A&E. I wasn't taken to like the emergency room. I was taken to the resuscitation room, where, I mean, I've never been in there before. I avoid hospitals at all costs. If you know me, you know that. But I got rushed into the resuscitation room, where there were like elderly people that were, I mean, I heard one of the doctors say, is she still alive? Like, it was bad. I should probably address the fact that I'm in a towel too. Really sorry, just got out of the shower, but I did want to update you on everything, and I just don't have the energy to do like a full sit down, I'm gonna get ready video, because I haven't got anything in me right now. So anyway, I went into the resuscitation room and was put on oxygen, and then they done a drip in my arm. I hate needles, so it really wasn't nice, and she's like pushing this needle, holding it in with her thumb and trying to draw blood out and everything else. It was horrendous, it was awful. And then they done antibiotics, fluids and paracetamol to try and bring my temperature down, because it was like nearly 40. Anyway, after a good few hours, I then had to have another injection, or blood taken out of this arm in my vein here, my wrist, which bloody killed. Oh my god, I am really not a fan of needles at all. It was the worst experience. But after hours and hours of sitting around, and Sam had come up with me, and I was like, please just go back. My mum was looking after the boys. I was like, please go back. You can't stay up here all night. I'm fine, don't worry. He finally left, bless him, at 1:30 in the morning, and I got taken onto a ward at 3 AM. Now, I assumed that it would just be like a normal ward. It wasn't. It was the only place they had beds, and it was like a pre-surgery ward, and it was just full of people that were over 90. No one, apart from myself, were under 90 years old. And I was like, well, I mean, at least I'll get some sleep, because in the recess room all the lights are up. There's like drunk men in there screaming and shouting that had fallen and whatever else, and were swearing at the nurses and the doctors. I just don't know how they do it. I just don't know how they do it, but that's another story for another day. So I was put on this ward and was like, the lights are dark, hopefully I'll just get a couple of hours sleep, because I hadn't slept all that day, and then it was like 3 in the morning and I was so tired. I went to just lay down, and they kept the oxygen in my nose continuously for the entire night, which is quite horrible when you think about it. To have something constantly blowing up your nose, it's really quite hard to sleep. And I'm not allowed to lay flat, because that causes my asthma to get worse, which starts my chestiness and not being able to breathe. So the bed was like up, you know, the hospital beds move. I was like sitting up the whole time, so that's really uncomfortable anyway. But to try and sleep like that is hell. So I managed to lay there. Just the second I was just dozing off to sleep, I could feel myself going. One of the old women shouted out, and then continued to do that all night. All night. She was shouting at the nurses, she was shouting at the patients. I coughed at one point and she was like, "Who are you coughing over there?" And I was like, oh my goodness, someone needs to get me off this ward. So I didn't end up sleeping at all. The nurse came in at 5:30 to do more checks and blood pressure and everything else, and she was like, "Oh, do you not like sleep?" I was like, "No, I just can't." And she's like, "Yeah, it's very difficult in here, that's every night." And I was like, oh, I can't cope with not sleeping. I really like my sleep, especially being, now I'm 36 weeks pregnant today, so really tired and just needed to sleep. I spent another couple of hours in the bed on my own, and then the doctors came round and said, "Well, your iron's dropped even more. We're going to do you an iron infusion today, and hopefully you should be allowed home, but we want the asthma team to see you, we want this, we want that." And I was like, okay, yeah, just get it done, whatever, that's fine. I mean, I sat in the hospital, I'd say for a good 8 to 10 hours with no one saying anything to me, no one coming in to see me, no one giving me any sort of updates. They just were just checking my blood pressure and then leaving. And I was like, and because I was on an all-women's ward, Sam wasn't allowed in, and I was like, he came up in the morning and he got told off because he could only stay 15 minutes and it had already been longer. So it was just an absolute nightmare. So I ended up sitting there for, I'd say, a good 8 to 10 hours on my own, just sat, not sleeping, not being able to do anything, just sat in sort of a numb state, if you will. I couldn't move my arm because the blood test was, or the drip was hurting, and everything was just a bit of a nightmare. And then finally someone come in and was like, "Look, we are going to do your iron infusion now. It's going to take about an hour." And I was like, okay, that's fine. Whilst my iron infusion was being done, my asthma nurse come in and explained that she's put me on a course of steroids for the next 8 days, or would be 8 days altogether. And she's spoken to my paediatrician, and she thinks it's best that I focus on myself and obviously not stress too much. But if the baby does come, then obviously she's had the iron and she's had the steroids from me, so everything, fingers crossed, if she does come early, she'd be absolutely fine. So yeah, that was all great. And then the nurse come in and was like, "Look, we are gonna wait for the doctor to see you, and then hopefully they'll discharge you." I was like, okay, whatever. By this point it was like 6 in the evening. I was just so fed up, wanted to get home. I missed the boys so, I can't even begin to tell you how much I missed having my children. Like, it killed me in there. They rang me at one point and I was just sobbing. Pardon me. I was just sobbing my heart out. Doctors come in, discharged me, gave me my steroids and some acid reflux tablets, and I was allowed to leave. Sam picked me up and we come home. Bless him. My mum had done everything in the house. She'd done all the washing, everything. She's been a godsend. And then Sam had cooked dinner for me that night, and just, it was just so nice to be home. I got in the shower and was just like, oh, thank goodness for that. I mean, I'm still not doing great. I'm not 100%. I've been taking my steroids now for, I've got 2 more days left, not including the doses that were in hospital. So we finished Monday, or tomorrow morning, because I've got today's and then tomorrow's to take. My lungs don't seem to be any greater at the moment. I think this chest infection has just hit me like a ton of bricks, and it's a viral chest infection, so they won't treat it with antibiotics, and they've got to be careful with everything else because of the baby. So we're just trying to fight it off as we go, which is slightly frustrating, but completely understandable because of the baby, obviously. I don't want to put her at any more risk. But it kind of means that everything that I need to get done in the house and in life and in general has just sort of been halted, and I'm a bit stuck. I need to paint the house, or like paint my bedroom, get all the baby stuff out. Need to get some things fixed in the house, like the toilet's not flushing properly. Just so many little bits that need to be done, but I feel like I'm running out of time now, and it's really frustrating me. I'm trying not to stress and not to worry and everything else. My mum and Sam have just been, I mean, I don't know what I'd do without them. They've just been absolute godsends. My mum's been here every single day, just trying to tidy up and help and be like, don't move, you're not doing anything. The poor woman has made herself ill now. She's got a cold and she's feeling poorly, but she just won't say a word about it. Sam has been incredible. He's taken the boys out for breakfast today, and they're at the park now, just so I could have a bath and not have to stress and panic about everything else. It's just been so nice. I feel very, very lucky. It makes me emotional thinking about it, to be honest, because it's been a stressful week. But important, baby girl is fine. She's very much in there. She's very much safe in my tummy, kicking around and doing everything that she should be doing inside for now. I can honestly say I don't like pregnancy. I find pregnancy beautiful on other people. I think pregnancy is a wonderful thing on someone else, and I'm like, wow, it's incredible, look what you've done. But on myself, I don't enjoy it. I'm not one to sugarcoat it and say, oh, I love pregnancy, it's the best. It isn't. It's rubbish. I don't enjoy it. It's not something that my body handles very well, especially towards the end with the iron and everything else. So I haven't loved pregnancy, and before last week I was like, I need this baby out, I want her out, I've had enough, I'm sick of pregnancy. And then after the whole scare thing of thinking, oh my god, she's going to come early and I don't know what I'm going to do, I sort of had this like change of heart. Like, I'm going to miss being pregnant, I'm going to miss feeling her and knowing that everything's fine from what I can feel here. And I don't care how long she stays in, even if she's in there 3 weeks late. And I mean, I would rather she wasn't, but if she is, then that's fine, because she's where she needs to be and she's safe. And if she comes early, I would like her to do it after 37 weeks, so I'm actually considered a term instead of preterm, because I don't want to have to go to hospital. And fingers crossed, I won't need any more iron infusions. There's a chance that I might, because my iron had dropped even lower. Even though I was on iron tablets, it had dropped even lower. I've just had a bit of a nightmare. I've just had a bit of a nightmare the last few weeks, and I know I haven't gone into a whole bunch of detail about everything, because before the whole hospital thing I had to go on iron tablets and was booked in for an iron infusion, and the hospital cancelled it, and then it's just been a massive stress, and I think this is why this has happened. But everything does happen for a reason, and I do believe that. It is just one of them things. So yeah, I'm obviously can't show you Bump officially because I'm in a towel, but here she is. She's in here. She's doing good. She's okay. The annoying thing is, I come out of hospital and I was like, I just don't want to smell like a hospital anymore. I don't want to smell like I've been in just a hospital, like that smell. So I raided my cupboards and I found Zoella's scent, the soap opera one, the original scent, and just completely fell in love with it again. When I first got it, I didn't really use it because I wanted it to be like a precious thing, like a rare thing to use, because I loved the smell of it, and I forgot about it, and then I used it on Wednesday when I come home in the shower, and I was like, oh, that's heavenly. And then a moment ago I had a bath and used the rest of it. I've literally used it in 2 bloody uses, and I'm devastated because it smells so incredible, and I've just ran out. which is rubbish. I think it's quite special now because it will remind me of towards the end of pregnancy, which will be really quite sweet to have that scent that I can just smell and be like, oh, it reminds me of being pregnant. Oh, just annoying. Everything always happens at once, doesn't it? But the good thing is, baby's safe. I mean, I'm getting there. I'll be fine. I'm not one to complain about myself. I just want everything else to be fine, and that's all that matters to me. So yeah, that's what's been happening. I will do like a proper sit down video, and I want to show you everything I've brought her because I know I haven't had a chance yet. It just feels like she's very heavy and she's going to fall out, and SPD and all things have been happening. I will sit down and explain it all properly, I promise you, but I did want to get on here and let you know exactly what's going on and why I haven't posted, and sort of just have this as a memory for myself. But thank you so much for watching. Sorry that this is the presentation for today, but that is just life. I hope you have a lovely week, and I will see you again very soon. Goodbye.